Hi, Aditi. Are you ready for a story with Mason? Mason, are you ready?
I'm ready for you to read me my story.
Today's story is Mason Goes to the Museum. Jacob's class was at the museum, and his teddy bear, Mason, could hardly wait to reach one of the displays. Are there dinosaur bones? He asked Jacob. Yes, Mason, Jacob answered, a whole room full. The little bear began to feel excited.
Very excited indeed.
In the museum lobby, a sign read, "Please leave backpacks here." "Sorry, Mason," Jacob whispered as he placed his backpack in the pile. "Don't worry. You'll be safe here and I'll be back soon." Jacob gave the bear a hug and walked away. Mason couldn't help but frown.
My smile is now upside down.
The little bear waited a long time, but Jacob didn't return. They're probably having fun looking at dinosaur bones, he thought. Mason looked in the direction Jacob had gone and noticed something on the floor in the next room. This made Mason curious. Mason quietly snuck out of Jacob's backpack and hurried around the corner into the next room. There on the floor was the mysterious object. It was a bone. "Oh my," he thought. "I'll bet this came from a dinosaur." He picked it up and set out to find the dinosaur with the missing bone. Mason began to feel excited.
Oh, there are happy butterflies in my belly.
Mason walked past a bicycle with a huge front wheel and an antique radio. Above his head hung an old airplane with two sets of wings. Mason couldn't believe his eyes.
Can this really be happening?
In the next room, a colorful map of the museum covered the wall. Mason looked at the map and saw a small image of a dinosaur not far from where he was. The little bear beamed. Finding dinosaurs was one of Mason's best things to do.
Nothing makes me more cheerful.
"What are you looking for?" said a voice from below. Mason looked down to see a small, furry mouse. The little bear introduced himself and told the mouse about the dinosaur bone. "My name is Cheddar," said the mouse with excitement. "Can I help you look for the dinosaur?" "Of course," said the bear. Cheddar picked up one end of the bone, and Mason smiled. He was all about making new friends.
To make a friend, you just have to be a friend.
Two new friends walked past a grandfather clock, and they walked under a covered wagon. They walked past a huge rusty anchor from a fishing boat, but they didn't walk past a dinosaur. The bone was getting heavy, and Mason was getting tired and hungry. The rusty anchor reminded the little bear of crispy fish sticks. Crispy fish sticks were Mason's favorite food.
Yum, yum, yummy.
When Mason entered the next room, Cheddar was already there, staring straight up in amazement. In front of him was a huge dinosaur. "Finally," Mason exclaimed. "Cheddar, we have to quickly find where this bone goes. I have to get back before Jacob leaves with his class." "I don't know," the mouse responded. "There are lots of bones here. This might take a while." Mason started to get anxious.
Oh, I could use a hug right about now.
The two walked all around the dinosaur, but saw no missing bone. I'll take a closer look, said Cheddar, as he scurried up the dinosaur's tail. From the top of the dinosaur's head, he looked down at Mason far below. Sorry, he said, no missing bone. Then a loud voice boomed from behind. You found my bone! Mason turned to see a big, shaggy dog. I thought I'd lost it forever, the dog shouted. Cheddar smiled and said, This is Franklin, the museum's guard dog. Thank you so much for finding my bone. Quite all right, Mason replied. As the dog chewed his bone, Mason could tell he was very happy. Making others happy was one of Mason's best things to do.
Could anything be better?
Mason, Cheddar said as he peeked around the door. Isn't that your friend Jacob and his class in the lobby? Mason looked and said, So it is. It looks like they are about to leave. I must get over there right away. Allow me, said Franklin. The dog gently picked Mason up by his scarf and quickly trotted over to Jacob. Franklin placed Mason at Jacob's feet and gave a single bark. Mason, Jacob said as he bent to pick up the bear. How did you get in here? As his friend gave him a big hug.
Every day is full of wonderful things to see.
As his friend gave him a big hug, Mason looked over Jacob's shoulder and smiled at Cheddar and Franklin. Mason was safe and happy.
What a lucky little bear I am.
Later that night, Jacob climbed into bed with Mason and asked the bear if he had been scared waiting for him alone in the museum. Perhaps a bit, admitted Mason. Well, don't worry, said Jacob. I'll never leave you alone for long, and I'll always be there to take care of you. We're friends, and that means we take care of each other. As the friends settled in for the night, Mason felt very grateful.
My heart feels so happy.
The end. Good night, Mason.
Goodbye.
Good night, Aditi.